Does Rhamondre Stevenson have the worst contract in the NFL? Is he overpaid? That's what we're going to talk about on today's episode. But first, I'm going to give a little sub battle for ourselves. In the month of June, we had 403 subscribers. Right now, it's still early. It's only the 5th of July. We have 15. Let's rack those up. Let's get those numbers up. Subscribe to the channel if you love free Patriots content, and let's beat June 2025. Welcome to Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. And Bleacher Report, they listed Rhamondre Stevenson's contract as the worst running back contract in the NFL. They came out with an article listing all of the worst or most overpaid players. Trevor Lawrence was quarterback, and then when I got to the running back, I saw this guy. So I was like, all right, I got to make a video on this one. Let's take a look at Rhamondre's contract. I mean, yeah, 2025, he's not getting paid that much, but you can see over and over, it just increases and increases. And it gets to a point, $11.6 million. You become one of the highest paid running backs in the NFL. And for a guy that, back in 2022 when he had 1,000 yards, he was one of the best running backs in football. But since then, it hasn't gone up to production, and he hasn't really made himself be worth that type of contract. It's no doubt in my mind that Rhamondre Stevenson is overpaid. But with the Patriots, with the amount of cap space that they have and the just production that you can see from him, I mean, that 2022 season was unbelievable. 1,000 yards. And the one big problem that we talk about is his fumbling problem. And I think that can be fixed. So I'm not going to go out there and say it's the worst contract, but he's definitely overpaid. Like, when you look at the highest paid running backs, Saquon Barkley at 20.6. I mean, they just won a Super Bowl. Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, like the list goes on and on. But you see at number 10, Rhamondre Stevenson. And when you go and compare those to David Montgomery, James Conner, Derrick Henry, Rhamondre isn't that type of dude to really belong with all of these running backs. I love Rhamondre Stevenson. He was one of my favorite players. I draft him on fantasy every single year, but I don't think he belongs on this list of top paid running backs in football. So I don't understand why you gave him so much money. He was probably going to leave if you didn't extend him. But once that contract gets into 2028, when he's making $11.6 million, it's just like, God damn, we're really paying him that much money. Here's what Gary Davenport had to say about Rhamondre Stevenson's contract. He said the 27-year-old topped 1,000 yards on the ground for the Pats in 2022, carrying the ball 210 times for 1,000 yards and 5 scores. But in 2023, before getting his big payday, he missed 5 games and saw his yards per carry drop by a full yard. Then things got much worse for the Oklahoma product. Last season, he missed time again because of injuries. He averaged 3.9 yards per carry. Yeah, imagine the 10th highest paid running back in football only going 3.9 yards per carry. His 431 yards after contract ranked outside of the top 20 at his position. And the big one, he fumbled the ball 7 times, the most out of any running back. Like, look, Rhamondre, he's going to have to pick it up. He's going to have to pick up this pace if he wants to, quite honestly, stay on the Patriots. I mean, last year in 15 games played, like you could see 2023. I'll give him an excuse. Like, you were hurt, 12 games played, 600 yards, but 3 more games in 24, and you only have about, 180 yards more than what you had the year before when you only played 12 games, and 3.9 yards per carry is terrible. You could see it's just slowly declining. He was at 4.6, then 5.0, then down to 4, and now at 3.9. And the one thing that really annoyed me last year was what Gerard Mayo saying, we're benching him. And when you bench him, you're supposed to bench him. He said they were going to bench Rhamondre Stevenson. Well, he ended up getting benched and then played what? The whole game right after it? Like, you benched him for 2 plays. The fumbling problem is a problem. Like, there's nothing to say the slightest. He has a fumbling problem, but you get a new running backs coach. You bring in a guy that can teach him And you can stop those fumbling problems, because if he doesn't have those fumbling problems, then Rhamondre could be a good running back like he was 3 years ago. But we're starting to get to the point where it has been 3 years ago. He's been disappointing in 23 and 24. Like, by the end of the year, we saw Antonio Gibson become that guy, become that lead back, become the guy that was entrusted with Drake May and this offense. But the one thing that I'll give Rhamondre is that he's a downhill runner. He's not going to break to the outside and go and use his speed. He's a bulldozing back. So when your offensive line is just absolutely terrible, you kind of get an excuse. I mean, when you're running out with Michael Jordan, Vidarian Lowe, and you're just running through a whole bunch of just different offensive line combos, you're not going to have a good running back. You have to have a good offensive line. You look at Saquon Barkley on the Giants when their offensive line was terrible. It seemed like Saquon Barkley was done, and they get rid of him. He goes to a team that has the best offensive line in football and becomes the quote-unquote best running back in football. So I'll give Rhamondre a little leeway here because of how bad the offensive line is, but I still think that he is very overpaid. I'm not going to complain about it. The Patriots still have $60 million in cap space. But I'll ask you guys, do you think Rhamondre is overpaid? Go ahead in the comments right now. You'll probably get an ad break. Type Y for yes or type N for no. I think he is, but I don't think it's a bad thing that he's overpaid. He's not making Saquon Barkley money, which is fine. That's fine by me. But also, you kind of have to get in that whole entire situation of, yeah, he's overpaid, but it is. I think that he can improve. I think that he can have a bounce back year. And when I saw the picture of him on social media, at first I was like, that's not him. That is not him whatsoever. We're going to get into that. But first, I got to tell you guys, our friends over at Fanatics, and they have a deal for you. You know I always have deals for you guys. Every single week we bring you a deal. And right now you can get this Patriots polo, $28.99. I'm going to have this for 2 more videos for you guys. So get them while the supplies last, because they're selling out, because this polo is 54% off. You can get yours today, chatsports.com/patspolo. If you love to go golfing like I do, if you want to rep the Patriots while you're playing, if you just want to go out and wear a polo, a lot of people like to. I'm more of a t-shirt guy, but I'm always got to get up on those polos. So get yours today, chatsports.com/patspolo. We'll have that in the comments and description of today's video. Okay, so this was the picture that I saw of Rhamondre Stevenson. And if you don't believe that's him, he posted it to his social media. And look how skinny he is. Like, I'll put a side by side. Like, this is what we know of Rhamondre Stevenson, right? This is what we know. And he just went through an entire fitness health kick, and he looks skinny. He looks, I don't know if I want to say small, but he does not look like Rhamondre. That does not look like the Rhamondre that we know, that we have seen in the last few seasons. And I don't want to know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, because it doesn't even look like Rhamondre Stevenson. It looks like TreVeyon Henderson with just how skinny he is. And maybe that can help him. Maybe it won't. That is the one question where I'm like, do you still have that bulldozing? Because you saw those stats, 7 touchdowns. And when you compare them to the years before, like, we used him in the goal line situation to bulldoze his way through the offensive line, or bulldoze his way into the end zone. Is he going to have that same strength, being as skinny as he was? But we talked about it earlier with why he hasn't looked as great, because the offensive line. Well, the offensive line is now improved. You got rid of everybody that you had last year except for Cole Strange. And I'll give it to Cole Strange. Like, he's fighting back through injuries. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to still be on this squad later down the line, but it's a lot better. And I mean a lot better than what we've seen throughout the last couple of years. Like, you drafted Will Campbell. You get Garrett Bradbury. You have Mike Owenu, who I think is going to have a bounce-back breakout year. And then you get the veteran Morgan Moses. Once he's healthy, he's been struggling with a knee injury throughout the offseason. But once you get him back, I think Rhamondre could easily bounce back. Now, the real question is, well, if he doesn't, what do you do with him? The Patriots have a potential out after, I think it's the 2027 season. He has to improve because you just drafted TreVeyon Henderson. And I believe that if fumbling problems stick and Henderson looks good in the first couple of weeks, he could be the guy that becomes that running back one. So Rhamondre this is a make or break year for him. Like, he has to pick it back up to get back to that 2022 production, or he is easily going to be traded. Like, I don't know who's going to take that contract, but the Patriots will try to move off of him. So, he has to have a bounce back year. For you guys, pick a starter, though. Who do you want to see the running back one? Do you want to see Rhamondre, or do you want to see TreVeyon Henderson as the starter going into the 2025 season? I want it to be Rhamondre. He's been here. He's proven himself. He's also the bulldozing back. You want that thunder and lightning, and I'm always going to go with that thunder first before the lightning. That's going to do it for today's episode of Patriots Today by Chat Sports. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. Let's keep the conversation going. My DMs are always open. If you want to talk about Patriots, you can hit me up on social media. And as always, let's go, Pats.